Welcome back to another explanation video. In this video, we will explain the course of debate. This includes the order in which an issue is debated and the way different people should be addressed during the conference. When attempting to find a solution to a wide-scale problem that involves multiple countries, it is important that the issues are debated in an orderly way. Therefore, there are strict rules about speaking in your committee, which helps to keep the debate structured and organized. One of the most important rules to remember is that delegates are not allowed to speak, unless the chair gives you permission to do so. This results in the second rule. Direct dialogue between delegates is not allowed. This means that you cannot ask other delegates questions without the chair's consent, and you may never interrupt someone else's speech. Furthermore, delegates should refrain from using the first person. This means that delegates should say, "The delegation of Spain thinks the UN should interfere," rather than "I think the UN should interfere." Lastly, we strongly urge you to avoid abusive and informal language. After lobbying, the chair decides which resolutions will be discussed and in which order. Once this decision is made, the chair calls upon the main submitter of the resolution to read out only the operative clauses, followed by a short opening speech. When the main submitter's speech is finished, the chair will ask the delegate if he or she is open to any points of information. This is another way of asking if the delegate is willing to answer any questions. There are a lot more of these so-called points, but these will be explained in another video dedicated to the rules of procedure. The delegate can answer this question by responding with a certain number of questions that he or she is willing to answer. Or he can reply by saying any at all, which means that the delegate is willing to answer all questions from his fellow delegates. The last way to answer a question is by refusing to answer any points of information. However, we advise against this and encourage you to answer at least a couple of questions, as this will leave a more professional impression on your fellow delegates. After all questions have been answered, the chair will suggest the delegate to yield the floor back. This is a formal way of asking the delegate to return to their seat, to which the delegate will respond by saying, "We yield the floor back to the chair." Another option is to yield the floor to another delegation, who will then take the floor and deliver a speech of his own, often in support of the previous speaker. The second delegate is allowed to refuse the floor if he does not want to add something to the debate. It is important to bear in mind that you can only yield the floor to another delegation once in a row. For instance, the delegation of the United States may yield the floor to Germany, but Germany cannot yield the floor to China. The German delegate has to yield the floor back to the chair. Following this, the chair will invite other delegations to take the floor and present their view on the resolution. A speech like this doesn't have to be too elaborate. It is also possible to just shortly state if you are in favor or against the resolution. Throughout the debate, you can send other delegates notes via the admins. In each committee, 2 admins take care of note passing and other practical issues. Even though we know it's tempting to send notes to your friends all day, we urge you to stay professional, even when sending notes. This means that you just use notes as means of discussing the issue with other delegates, or with the chair. After debating the resolution for a set amount of time, your committee will move into voting procedures. This structure is repeated throughout the conference. Therefore, it is important that you understand the course of debate and reach out to us if you have any more questions about this topic. Make sure to watch our other video about amendments, as this will offer a further explanation on the subject. Thank you for watching and see you next time.